Yes, and today we are talking finances because that's what you're interested in. Anywhere, anyone, anywhere. Kila mtu anataka tu kujua story ya pesa. And because we are talking about, we actually, a lesson today, we are talking about which money lessons did you learn from your parents? Growing up, we saw our parents go for chamas and we saw them just trying to, you know, like, salvage situations at home when it came to finances. And of course, we have a very talented human being in studio. His name is Eliud. He's a financial analyst and also a financial advisor. Karibu sana, Eliud.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's nice to have you. So of course, let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
What lessons are these and why is it crucial to pass them down to our kids?
Yeah, so first of all, I give the story of how, how I grew up. So I grew up with typical parents, just like everyone else, typical African parents. And so there were these things they would say. Of course, they didn't have a background in finance like me. So, but there are things they would say, and then you will just relate to me. After now studying finance and even practicing it, you now relate it to actually that this makes sense financially. So some of the lessons that they would say, or some of the things they would say are like, don't bite off more than you can chew. They will say something like that. And now having done finance, I can relate to it like, so that simply meant, you only need to buy what you need.
Yeah.
And this happens to most young people, especially when we are getting into the festive seasons. People just buy, and you don't consider that this is what you need.
Yeah.
And so you end up spending more than you actually what you need. Some of the other lessons also that they could say, and this is just learning from remembering from my parents, is that if it can wait, let it wait. Because especially in this digital era, most people will go online and then you see something. Of course, human nature tells you you'll always want to get something better than what you have.
Yeah.
But again, as I said, do you really need it?
Yeah.
So again, so my parents will always, when you ask for something, and this is from my parents, when I ask for something, they will take like a month before they will buy it to you, before they give it to you. And so that tells you, if you apply the same, so where like, you need this something, but give yourself like about a week. If you'll still be needing the same thing, then probably it's important.
So is it like delayed gratification?
Exactly.
Okay.
So where you take time, because again, human nature is when you see something nice, you want it, but maybe you don't need it. So what you do, take time, give yourself a week. If you still need that same thing, then probably need it. But in most cases, you'll realize 1 week later, you don't even need it. You don't even remember it. So that's money saved again. One other thing, of course, this was very common in my home was a shopping list.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people just go to shop and then you shop the entire account and then go.
That's true.
But my parents were very strict on a shopping list. So they would want, of course, one reason was that we would mostly forget what you want to buy sometimes.
Yeah.
So you use the shopping list to remember. But the most important thing was that the shopping list could guide you because you have a plan of exactly what you will get. If you go without a shopping list in a supermarket, you find yourself exposed to so many things. You buy what you don't need because probably you're using a card. You don't know how much you're spending, and that definitely eats into your finances. Plus, the other one that I'll quickly mention is the need to track your finances. And this is also just passed down from my parents. Again, they would insist, when you want to go back to school, they will ask you where is the list of items that you need to buy you. And so that was important because even right now, being able to track your finances using a budget. So we use a budget nowadays to track your budget. So you see the incomes that you have, the expenses that are going out, so that you exactly know what you need to spend and how much you need to spend on it.
Yeah. But let me ask you, what's the most common maybe mistake you think a lot of parents or the people who are taking care of other children are doing that they're not teaching these children as they come up, how to handle and manage their finances? What are those common things you feel like you've gotten to learn or understand through, studies, of course, and your experiences? Why do you think a lot of parents are not strict and keen about that?
Yeah, so I think most parents are controlling. So you feel like there is a certain age where your kids are not really ready to handle finances. So you don't trust them. And so when you don't trust them, you don't expose them to this, money management at an early stage. Even in our schools, Kenyan schools, you realize that people learn about finances as late as in university. So you're coming through the entire school system and really meeting this important topic of finances very late. So I think the mistake parents make is not introducing this money management skills to kids at a very young age. It's very important for kids to grow up with this habit of, knowing you don't have to spend money on everything, and you actually know, because parents, used to tell us, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
But now they leave it there. But that's one key lesson by that you can actually start there. So you tell them, okay, fine, man doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means you have to plan for it and earn it. Actually, you don't spend it like it's in surplus. No, it's a limited resource, and so you have to spend it carefully and strictly and carefully. And so I think it's important just to introduce that concept early in the kid's life.
How early is that early?
I mean, as early as the kid can start schooling, understanding anything, any concept. I think as early as even kindergarten, it would be important, because kids will start asking money for sweets as early as.
Yes, and it's true. And most of us actually learned how to manage our money when we went to boarding schools, where you're given 1,000 shillings and you're supposed to, ujipange the entire term. But let's just take it back to our parents, and how I saw my parents grow. Not really my parents, but my aunties, and they used to go to chamas, like merry-go-rounds. My uncles didn't really love it, because they thought, oh, anaenda tu kusengenya. So what would you, is it as important as it is? Is it as important as it was back in the day? And also, if it's not as important, then what can we equate that to in the present world?
It's actually as important. It hasn't, the importance of it hasn't been drained at all. So the fact is, a merry-go-round, is a form of saving. And so this is also a topic that even today, it's really important, being able to save and invest. So of course, it starts from as simple as a merry-go-round scheme, and even it can get as high as, being able to invest in these modern financial tools like bonds, money market funds, bills, T-bills, and the likes. So it starts from there. So of course, it's a habit that has to be inculcated at a very young age, as I said, so that the kid is able to grow up with it. And as a parent, of course, your role is just to make sure that you're able to expose your kid to these matters as early as possible. Of course, investment is the only way that kids will plan for their future. And as much as you as a parent, you'll want to plan for your kid, right? But again, anything can happen. So you have to make sure that the kid is also ready to take care of himself or herself. And that's just by making sure that as small investments as saving or investing in, especially for the young people, if you can get even as little money as 500, 1,000 bob, there are different tools that you can actually invest in, and they will be able to give you a return so that your money works for you. Yeah,
because I've seen kids whose parents passed on, and that's the minute they were exposed to properties, right? And they squander everything, and you wonder, okay, so what conversation did we leave out? So how would you advise? It's never too late. Of course, even for parents to start this conversation, but how do you talk to an all-grown person like 17 how to money manage?
Yeah, so the good news about older kids like the 17-year-olds is that they're able to understand. So for them, you don't have to use tricks like, I don't know. No, you can actually sit them down and let them know that there is life, there is reality, and there is fiction. And so the fact is, if you have these resources, at some point they will run out. And so it's a reality that, especially when you're starting getting to the age of 17, 18, you realize that, at some point you have money, at some point you don't. You're paid maybe at the end of the month, you realize the 15th of every month, you're at zero.
Money.
So they have interacted with this and they know. So at that point, they will really appreciate that topic, so that you bring them on the table and tell them, you see, this is the reason why there is inconsistency in your cash flows in your pocket, is because you're doing this and this, you're squandering, and it's just important that either you open a savings account, an investment account, or any of the things that can actually help you keep your money in a constant flow.
That's really insightful.
Thank you so much, for the information. And of course, I'm very sure people are going to, check you out and hit you up and ask you more questions. 111 444 111 is our SMS line. At only 1 shilling. Let us know wagwan, tuma maswali kwa Eliud, ulizes mambo ya financial things agwan. Kwanza ni December. Umejipanga mtu wangu. But we need to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.